what we gotta do.
Legalize.
Yeah, what we gotta do.
Legalize.
Yeah, what we gotta do.
Legalize.
Gotta put them pushes right in the grave.
I've just discussed how much progress we're making with MDMA research. Today we found that we were approved in Switzerland by the Ethics Committee for a study with LSD. Last week the FDA approved a study for psilocybin for cancer patients with anxiety. There's projects that we have with ibogaine in Canada and Mexico. We're making substantial progress with psychedelics. With marijuana, we're not making any progress at all. And the reason that we're not is that we have to negotiate with the National Institute on Drug Abuse, whose mission is what's bad with marijuana and how can we help treat people with marijuana dependence. They have a monopoly on the supply of marijuana, and their marijuana is the only marijuana that can be used in studies in the United States trying to look at the therapeutic uses of marijuana. We've had 2 protocols approved by the FDA, and NIDA refused to provide the marijuana for it. We've been trying for 4 years to buy 10 grams. 10 grams is less than half an ounce. The government has over a ton of marijuana in stock. We're trying to buy 10 grams, and we've been unable to do it for research with vaporizers. Vaporizers heat marijuana up, but they don't burn it. It's almost to the temperature of burning. The marijuana emits a steam. The steam contains cannabinoids, but no combustion products. Those tend to be the ones that people are most concerned about in terms of the risks of marijuana to the lungs. And the National Institute on Drug Abuse has refused to let us purchase 10 grams. We're not asking to get anything for free from the government. So what we've been able to demonstrate through our sincere efforts to conduct research into marijuana in patients and safer delivery systems is that the current system with the NIDA monopoly fundamentally obstructs medical marijuana research. Now, since there has been no way really for us to go through the FDA process, how are patients supposed to be meeting their medical needs? 12 states have approved medical marijuana laws that permit patients access under a variety of different circumstances with their recommendations of their doctors to have marijuana for their medical needs. That removes state and local law enforcement, but the feds are still able to prosecute people because there is no approval on the federal level for the medical use of marijuana. There's been several cases that have gone to the Supreme Court, Jeff Jones and Angel Raish, both of whom lost in the U.S. Supreme Court. The federal authority has been affirmed. And so we have this pathetic situation, actually, where the Drug Enforcement Administration, the Drug Czar's office, the Bush administration are, on the one hand, blocking research through the FDA, and on the other hand, arresting patients and their caregivers and dispensaries who are trying to meet medical needs in association, in accordance with state laws. So 5 years ago, I recognized that we needed to break the government monopoly. Absolutely 6 years ago, early 2001, I found a professor, Lyle Craker, at UMass Amherst, who is an expert in medicinal plants. He's a senior tenured professor. He can resist political pressure. His job is secure. He's not involved in any way at all with marijuana legalization efforts. His clear and sole interest is in plant medicines and the development of them for a variety of conditions. He personally believes that the science should tell the story about medical marijuana. He's not even convinced that marijuana is a medicine. But he was willing to work with MAPS to try to get a license to grow marijuana, to break the federal monopoly so that we could have our own independent sources of supply, and then we could work with FDA, the agency that is willing to approve medical marijuana research, and then we could get the studies done. DEA, through a whole series of maneuvers, disgraces, lost the application for a year. DEA's policy is delay, delay, delay. They have fear, actually, that marijuana actually does work, and that if we were to do the research, we'd be able to demonstrate that there are medical benefits. So what DEA is trying to do in every way possible is stall. We had to sue them under the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, under the Administrative Procedures Act, arguing unreasonable delay. The court asked the DEA to explain why it took them so long to reply to Professor Craker's application. DEA then rejected the application, and we were able to then sue them in the administrative law judge context in the DEA headquarters under a DEA administrative law judge, Mary Ellen Bittner. In February 12th of this year, we won the case. We had $250,000 worth of pro bono legal services, the American Civil Liberties Union, Jenner and Block, Covington Burling has helped. We've been able to demonstrate to the satisfaction of the judge that that it would be in the public interest for the DEA to break the NIDA monopoly and give Professor Craker a license to produce marijuana exclusively for federally approved research. The judge makes recommendations to the head of the DEA, who has to make a final ruling. It's not that the judge forces the DEA to give us the license. So DEA has now been delaying since February. We've got 45 members of Congress have written a letter to DEA saying give the license. Of those 45 members, 42 were Democrats, 3 were Republicans. All of those Republicans are from California, from districts where the DEA has gone in over local support and arrested dispensaries and dispensary owners and tried to block the distribution of marijuana under state law. So that in those circumstances, these 3 Republicans were willing to step out of the party line and try to encourage the DEA to end the hypocrisy and start the research.
What we gotta do?
Legalize.
Yeah, what we gotta do?
Legalize.
Oh, what we gotta do?
Legalize.
Gotta put them pushers right in the grave.